New York Post. It says Mary Magdalene has something to get off her chest. Yeah. The 25-year-old model was 25. Does she look 25 to you?
That's a rough 25. I'm sorry. I think I find that to be the case a lot when people are like very clearly have a lot of work done. Is presumably the goal of all of this work is to make you look better and younger. It didn't work. It usually has the opposite effect.
Yeah.
It's not good.
Let me get this queued up here, but if you're watching along with us on YouTube, this is what this creature looks like. Yeah.
That's a rough 25. If you include the carbon date of all the polyurethane in her, she's at least 300.
I guess you got to do a lot of porn and a lot of OnlyFans to be able to afford the surgeries to do this. This all just looks painful.
Yeah, it does.
I think this has got to be a result of some sort of mental illness. I've never heard of this woman before tonight. I don't want to armchair psychologist her or anything. But this doesn't look like the behavior of a person of sound mind to me.
Gee, you think? The 25-year-old.
She's shaped like a bone.
She looks like the kind of bone that like a caveman would like carry around and hit people with. Like a comically large dinosaur leg bone.
She looks like a 6-year-old's drawing of a female.
That's what it is. Yes. It looks like she lives in a house that's just like 3 straight lines and then a triangle on top.
Where the sun actually has lines coming out of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. She looks like she could have been pretty on her own. And she just kind of.
Well, yeah, that's what's tragic about this. I can't imagine any of that being necessary at any point.
What's the race? What's the race from Star Trek that was it Dax? Is Jadzia Dax?
Yeah.
Is it Trill?
Yeah,
because she's got like the Trill design on her, all these awful tattoos that she has.
I thought you were going to say she looks like a Borg just from all the augmentations.
That's fair.
She looks like the rough draft of a Klingon design. One that didn't make it to air. Mm-hmm. In the abdomen region, at quick glance, it looks like she has Rocco from Rocco's Modern Life tattooed on her.
Yeah, it looks like Rocco from that episode where he was in the airplane that was going down and he was like freaking out and turned into a Picasso painting for one moment.
The episode they wouldn't air after 9/11 because it involved a plane crash. So anyway, New York Post, the 25-year-old model was asked to leave her plane to Dallas, Texas, due to her 22-pound breasts. The Toronto native donned leggings and a sports bra for her $5,000 Tuesday flight and was able to get through security and board the plane. The cabin crew threw her off the aircraft for wearing her headphones and not listening to instructions from flight attendants. However, she believed that her departure had something to do with her appearance. She went to Instagram to complain about it. And she posted, and I quote, I'm going to try to quote.
Oh my God.
I was going to ask if I could, but you go ahead.
Oh, no, Ak, if you would love to, please take it away.
You have to show them it so they know that it's real.
They kicked me off the flight. I have never been so dosktiminimated saints. This is dosh hosting I asked a, and they say bevsus I had my headphones in. Don't swear het tid. Is it alt prejudice so digsting ong?
How can you spell headphones correctly but not the word the?
Or don't?
Like some of these aren't even close. like okay, never with an R instead of the first E. I get. Disgusting as Dosh Husting is borderline. Literally as Isiteralt is really pushing it.
Yeah. I love Dosktiminated.
I love this kind of thing.
And there's like it's some like because when she tried to spell because, I thought she was like doing fake Greek. You know, when people put V's and everything.
Oh yeah. It's like my tattoo has like V's instead of what? U's or F's instead of S's. I should know my own tattoo better. But yeah, it has that like fake Latin writing.
Yeah, I got my name tattooed on me. Yeah, that's not my name. Yeah, so that's she reposted it later. Where more, not every word, but more words were spelled correctly. But
okay, that's good.
But yeah, so she's upset that she was kicked off her flight. She thinks it's because of her appearance, not because she was being insubordinate, because they don't fuck around in this the post 9/11 world in which we live. People do not fuck around when it comes to air travel and the like. So she was actually interviewed, believe it or not, by the news. I'm not sure which station. It didn't say which station interviewed her, but she had this to say when asked if she truly thinks that she was kicked off the plane due to her appearance. I'm
excited. I want to know what she sounds like.
This is what she had to say.
You fucker. So when you were saying you were cutting some audio before the show, I really should have seen this coming.
Yeah, probably. Have you seen the show?
I had a whole lead up that I thought the setup was great, and then in all seriousness, acts excited, and I had this moment in my head moments ago where I'm like, oh fuck. He's gonna be disappointed. Well,
okay.
All right, well, anyway, she had this to say.
Fair.
Yeah.
I mean, in all honesty, she looks like she would sound like that.
Yes, that's why I'm so curious. Like, for what those lips have got to interfere with your ability to talk, I'd assume. I don't know anything about lip inflation.
She spent $150,000 on plastic surgery.
Christ alive.
Like, Jesus, like there's so many other cool things you could buy.
Yeah.
Like you could buy enough marshmallows to make a bed, like a Tempur-Pedic bed.
But I don't want to end world hunger. I want to bring dinosaurs back to life.
Yes.
You could have
bought Twitter.
It could be like Stefan. Invest that money into a pool full of chocolate pudding.
Pudding. Well, she's a TikToker, so
do you think she floats or sinks?
Oh, that's a good question. Depends on what it's made
with
of.
All that material.
It depends on what she's made of.
Yeah. There was this show on Netflix, drawing a blank on the name, but it starred RuPaul as a drag queen other than herself, who basically goes on this like cross-country trip with like a tween. And at one point, the kid takes her fake tits into the pool and is using them as a floating device to learn how to swim. And that's all I can picture when I imagine this woman in a pool.
I was just pulling on YouTube, and I don't know what the audio is going to sound like, but so I'm not going to pull it up now. But they were showing purportedly before photos, and she was like as skinny as a rail. And you can kind of see that in the photo that we were showing earlier. I mean, there's definitely a lot of disproportion happening.
Yeah.
I found a TikTok of hers.
Oh.
If you want to hear what she sounds like.
Okay.
Do.
All right, let's see what we got here.
It's
So
hard for me to
curious.
imagine you ever took a step back at any point along this journey. It feels like it's always have bigger, bigger, bigger.
Because I am a Gemini. I'm a true Gemini. Sometimes, like, think of the Gemini.
And of course, immediately what she starts talking about is her astrological sign. So yeah, this person is mentally ill. You successfully called that she would be very interested in stars.
Because I am a Gemini. I'm a true Gemini. Sometimes, like, think of the Geminis. Kanye West, Donald Trump, Azalea Banks, Marilyn Monroe, Kurt
I don't want to think
Cobain.
about
Like,
any of
are
those
all
people.
kind of like intense personalities, right? We're like very like bipolar. So
Whatever you say.
What is
Good response. Good answer.
Yep.
Sure.
God, that's like CJ in Grand Theft Auto San Andreas when you take a lady on a date and she's like, "Oh, CJ, I love you so much. I'm having a wonderful time," and he just goes, that's real interesting."
Brilliant.
This chick literally, like, her mouth isn't moving.
Yeah.
Well, her mouth is mostly plastic.
Yeah.
In fact, most of her is plastic. She's basically an action figure.
She could be both the ventriloquist and the dummy.
That's something.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because she already is a dummy. Get it?
People don't
Sure.
do
seems
this
like
to
it.
yourselves for the likes. Don't do this to yourself for the. It's
Even like I'm not really a fan of any like work people get done. Like I just think it almost always people look better like old but real than
Right.
like the
Plastic.
reasons they try to get these things is like, oh, I need to look younger, I need to look prettier and smoother, and it's like, okay, yeah, you technically are those things, but you also just look worse. Like you look younger and worse.
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
just think it's, and I don't want to police anyone. People do what they want to do. I won't judge you unless you do this, in which case I will obviously judge you rather severely. But
Well, do you remember there was a guy that, and I think he ultimately took his own life in the end, but he like was going out of his way to try to look like a tiger?
not specifically. I do remember there being multiple, like there was one person who is very controversial. They're like a huge K-pop person. Like they have a ton of fans on Twitter and Instagram, and all they do is follow K-pop. But they've gotten a bunch of plastic surgery. I believe they are originally a Caucasian, and they are trying to make themselves look Korean. And people are saying like, that's pretty fucked up. Like you shouldn't do that. That's not okay.
Well, do you remember they passed away not too long ago, but it was those brothers. I can't remember if they were twins, but they were from France, and that they claimed that they were doctors, like they were celebrity doctors, but like no one could verify their credentials, and their thesis were like all disproven and discredited, but they were plastic surgery nightmares, and they claim to have never had plastic surgery. I'm like, no, you did. Genetics don't work that way.
Yeah, they both died of COVID pretty recently, right?
Right,
Is that the same brothers I'm thinking of?
Yeah, because they're also COVID deniers, anti-vaxxers. Yeah. Stalking.
It sounds like, based on her praising the Gemini intensity of Donald Trump, that this woman is probably also a COVID denier. I'm just gonna stereotype her like that. I feel pretty confident in that assertion.
That's fair.
Yeah. So Stalking Cat is who I was thinking of. Dennis Avner, who passed away in 2012. According to Wikipedia, an American man known for his extensive body modifications, which were intended to increase his resemblance to a tiger. For his 14 surgical procedures towards that goal, he held a world record for most permanent transformations to look like an animal.
Oof. Hope he didn't have too much competition for that.
Oh, Jesus. All right, here we go. So, among the modifications, here you go. You ready for this? Extensive tattooing, including facial tattooing. That's what Jabba the Hutt that we were just talking about had done.
Oh, okay.
Facial subdermal implants to change the shape of his brow, forehead, and bridge of his nose. Flattening his nose via septum relocation. Silicone injection in his lips, cheeks, and chin and other parts of his face. I can't pronounce this word, so splitting his upper lip.
Mm-hmm.
Bifurcating? Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Filing and capping his teeth, surgically shaping his ears, surgical hairline modification, piercing his upper lip, and transdermal implants on his forehead to facilitate wearing whiskers, wearing green contact lenses with slit irises, and wearing robotic tails.
So I just want to say, I still think that's all a really bad idea and don't do that. But at least it kind of has more logic to me than Mary Magdalene. 'Cause,
Sure.
like, yeah, I'm a human, but I wish I were a cat. So I'm going to change and become a cat. Mary Magdalene's was, I'm a human, but I wish I were a worse human. Like, I just don't get the...
Right. There's no end goal there besides
exactly.
besides just making money via OnlyFans or whatever. Claiming to be an influencer. Influencing what exactly?
Yeah.
It's all for attention. Welcome to the world that we live in, where it's like you have to do these things in order to stand out. Did you guys hear about that guy who spent like $15K on a collie costume so he could live his dream of being a dog?
No,
chat.
but I mean, furries. I mean,
Sure.
It's a thing. I feel like you could probably get a decent one for way cheaper than that.
So sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say it's super realistic. That's what
That
It
threw me
is.
off. Yeah.
It's a good costume. I just don't think it's worth $15,000.
Yeah.
Personally, I wouldn't spend. If you said, "Hey, do you want to walk around in a dog costume for like $50?" I'd be like, "Yeah, why not? I'll give it a try." But no, I wouldn't spend $15,000 on that.
Look, when I was 5 years old, I really wanted to grow up to be a dog. Like that was like my goal. But the key takeaway there was I was 5 years old. So, like as Ralph Wiggum once said, when I grow up, I want to be either a principal or a butterfly. So, New York Post, two things here. One, I love that their kicker here. His name is Good Boy. But here's the part that doesn't surprise me. He's Japanese.
Yeah.
It's all with things like this. It's always some Asian country.
Mm-hmm.
Almost always. No, Mary Magdalene, not Asian, as far as I can tell. But
Yeah, who knows?
I don't even know what
But
she is.
American, at least. Yeah.
So, thank you, Nate.